We got a special conversation with Kelly from Kelly's Unexplained. She is new to the paranormal game, so she has a lot of enthusiasm, and I love that. I love people who have a lot of enthusiasm when it comes to this, and she has a passion for it. We talk about a vast variety of topics around the paranormal, how she got into it, which is something I really am interested in, and I've wanted to talk about it for a long time. She got a Twitter beef, and her Twitter beef, I guessed it. She got into a little argument and was sticking up for somebody with one of these celebrity psychic mediums, and I guessed exactly who it was. She told me who it was after we recorded the episode, and I was right on the money. So I might do another episode with that once I talk to her maybe again and see if I can, out him a little. Him. Whoops. Anyway, but she's fascinating. You definitely want to take a listen to this one. And in the middle of it, she talks about something she caught that was really fascinating. Now, I hadn't seen that video until I watched it after we did the conversation, after we did the interview, and it's creepy. It's really weird, and uh, I'm mesmerized by that one. So go check out her channel after this, after you watch the episode. So let's go ahead and get it started. Ghost in the Night with Phil Sams. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Ghost in the Night, a hauntings and paranormal podcast. Today we have a special guest. She is a YouTuber, brand new YouTuber who's having great success in the YouTube space. Kelly, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I saw some of your content, and one of your videos really struck a nerve with me because it was something I've been wanting to talk about here recently, and it's something that I truly believe in, is that certain paranormal experiences can open your eyes. And I'll let you tell your story, but I'll kind of rough it, give us a quick overview of it. You had an experience, and since you had that experience, you have had more experiences. And that is something that I really want to focus on in my investigations and in my journey in the paranormal research, is how one experience can steamroll and lead to more experiences. So go ahead and tell everybody what I'm talking about here.
Okay, well, I had installed some home cameras at my home. I think I started with 3, just one on the driveway to see if anyone's driving by. I put one on the front door, and then one in the backyard. And no, I take that back. I only started with 2, the driveway camera and the front door camera. And I'd had them probably for about a month, and I caught something, this spirit orb, on the driveway camera, about 2:31 in the morning, exactly 2:31 in the morning. It was actually July 1st. It has a setting where it's motion detected, and it only starts recording when it sees motion. So it'll record cars and things like that. It's recorded bugs, and people walking their dogs and going in and out of the house. Well, and it keeps it all in this one file. Well, I just happened to, I don't know what it was. Something told me, go look in your files. Usually there's so much movement that there's probably a list of 100 different videos a day, and it takes so long to go through them. And usually I don't look at them unless there's like a reason to, like someone's coming over, or I'm checking to see when my kids are coming or going. But I did wake up and I saw this circular weird vision on this camera. And so I had posted it on Facebook, because I didn't have YouTube at the time, and this was my first experience. And so I was like, guys, have y'all seen anything like this? Do y'all believe in stuff like this? And the Facebook post really blew up. I had several comments. I had a lot of likes. I mean, the conversation just kept going and going. Well, then I got another one like the day after that. And then 2 days later, I posted those. I was like, hey guys, look, I'm getting more. This is really crazy. My son is 20 and he's a Facebook friend of mine. And he was like, Mom, if you post another ghost video on Facebook, I'm going to unfriend you. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just put them on YouTube. I just kept getting them. And I was like, I'm just not going to keep these in my phone. Like I know there's people out there that want to see this or have questions. So I started with that. I had no idea how to do YouTube. Um, and the more I got them, the more I started reading and investigating and researching to find out what this really was.
Wow. Um, your first impression. Now, did it startle you? Were you scared, or did it just kind of strike up a curiosity?
Actually, it it was exciting. It was so exciting. It did not scare me at all, because I'm a huge fan of ghost adventures. I've watched Paranormal Caught on Camera. I'm a huge fan of the Travel Channel, so I'd seen all of those episodes. I'd seen the ghost orbs, or the orbs, on those episodes, and so I had an idea of what they were, and never in a million years did I think that it would happen to me. It was one of those beliefs that that happens to mediums, or that happens to psychics, or that
Mhm.
happens to people that go out investigating. Like I didn't go looking for it. It kind of just fell in my lap. It came
Right.
to me. And I'm 40 years old, and I've never experienced this my whole life. I've never really had cameras at my house either, but it took 40 years for me to have my first experience. And no, I wasn't scared. In fact, I actually get really sad. I haven't had anything on my cameras in about a week and a half, and it makes me really sad. I
Really?
miss yeah, I do. I wake up and go, where's my ghost friend at?
Right. Now, has anything else, have you noticed anything else happening? Maybe strange knocks or any other kind of activity in the home?
I have heard things, like a hello while I'm in bed, or I will be, getting ready in my bathroom, putting on my makeup, getting ready for work, and my I hear my daughters, talking to me in, the hallway, and I'll turn around and she's not around. She's outside. She's in the car waiting for me to go. So I have heard things. I'm not catching them on camera because unfortunately the cameras at my house don't pick up audio.
Okay.
It's only video. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, and you never had any kind of experiences growing up that you know of.
Well, I I think I have, but I can't for sure say yes. My father died whenever I was 5 of skin cancer, and I was a daddy's girl.
Mhm.
And it was very traumatizing. It was a very ugly death. It was very fast. And I do remember seeing him standing there at the end of the street one time, but I think I was like 9. He died whenever I was 5. So it was about a 4-year, difference. And so I thought I was crazy. And okay, it was probably just some man standing at the end of the street. Didn't think anything of it, and really haven't had a lot since.
Really. Yeah, because, you know, like I told you when we were talking earlier, I firmly believe the younger, as we get older, it's almost like are trained or brainwashed into not believing in the supernatural. And it takes just one little moment, like your video with the orb, to kind of spark that, not interest, but open that gate or open that, I hate to use the word portal, but just open your mind to the wonders and what is possible in this world, essentially. And once that thing happens, you start seeing more, you start experiencing more. But it's orbs are a little tricky, and I'm not a, as you probably seen some of the stuff I posted
Hmm.
on. I'm not a big believer in orbs, and not it's not even that I'm not a big believer in orbs. It's the fact that they're so hard to confirm, so hard to truly know exactly what it is, because there is, dust and other things. Like if you
Hmm.
see something like that in with your naked eye, now we got something. Now it's harder. But just to prove something is a spirit orb is through video is very hard. Um,
Yeah,
and
and I try to do that whenever I post my orb videos. I compare it. I put a side by side or one right after another of what bugs look like on my camera or what dust looks like on my camera, and you can see a huge difference of what my camera looks like with those 3 or 4 different entities.
Right.
And there was the one that I posted last week. You actually saw the legs on the bottom of the orb, and then it just kind of absorbs into the ceiling, and there's no way.
Right.
And like I said, I put a bug right behind it so you could see
Right.
how my camera visualizes bugs. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and like I had a lady send me. Matter of fact, it was this morning. I woke up and she's on Facebook from my Facebook page for the podcast. She sent me because I posted something on Facebook, a little video, 8-minute video, talking about orbs. And my whole thing was, I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying I don't know, and they're too hard for me to prove or disprove. So I kind of just stay away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, what do you think about this? And there was a bunch of orbs, and it was a picture of her living room, not very well lit, just
Mm-hmm.
interesting. And I said back, yeah, there are a few that are very interesting there. However, I don't know the environment that it was taken in. I don't know what camera. I don't truly know what your shutter speed. There's too many variables for me to say, yes, that is a spirit, or yes, that is dust, or yes, that is a bug. I'm not going to say either way. I don't know what it is because I'm not there. I don't know how it was taken. So that is kind of my point. And people take that as me hating on orbs. No, I very well could be. I don't have any answers to anything. I'm kind of an idiot just like the rest of us. I don't have answers. If we knew exactly what they were, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's the beauty of the
Yeah.
paranormal. And
Yes, and that's why my channel is Unexplained. I can't explain it, but I do know what I saw, and I know the feeling that I get when I see it, and I know the feeling that I get when I don't see it, and it lights a fire in me. I just want to know more. It's like I can't get enough. I'm hungry for the paranormal now. I want to watch everything I can watch. I want to network with everyone I can network with. And I just wish that I had started this 20 years ago.
you know,
But,
me too. And the way I was brought up, I'm older than you, not much, but I'm older than you. When our younger in our 20s and our early teens, you didn't talk about the paranormal. If you had an experience,
no.
it was hush hush, I should say. But I was lucky enough. My mother was, she was cool, and she let me talk about those things because I've lived in. People who've listened to the podcast or watched my videos know that I've lived in haunted homes all my life. I've had activity in just about every home I've ever lived in, except for the current one, which is kind of iffy. Maybe, maybe not. I haven't really made that decision yet. So it's kind of common knowledge to me. So I've always been open to it. However, when the more I've started investigating, I didn't start investigating until I started this podcast, which was just 2 years. And I went out with a group, and my first time going out on a real official investigation, I caught a shadow figure on camera. And I went back, couldn't debunk it. So now everything is kind of built on that. That's my baseline at this point. And I have
Mm-hmm.
been actually very disappointed on probably 60 to 70% of the investigations, places that I've investigated since that, because most people think paranormal investigating is like what you see Zach and the boys do. I wish it was that active,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of sitting around in the dark talking to yourself saying, am I crazy? So I'm kind of like at the point where I thought the way I grew up and the evidence and experiences I had growing up, paranormal was all around. It was less common knowledge or it was common activity to where now I'm starting to say, this is actually hard and it's not really as frequent as what I thought. So when you have that experience, and the one thing I will say to the people that are listening, if you have to keep your head about you, and because if you have an experience that you can't explain, which is great, you can't. Not everything is paranormal. Sometimes things are just happen and you can't explain them. Doesn't make it a spirit or a ghost. And so people can start seeing things that aren't really, or not misinterpreting much easier things that aren't really paranormal because they have a bias. And you seem to have a real,
Yes.
a cool, calm, collective head about you and very rational about it. So I don't think that's you, that will happen to you. But there, I've seen people, have an experience that truly they can't explain. And then next thing you know, everything's a ghost. Every little bug.
No, I think it's funny because I also have a 13-year-old girl. Actually, she turns 14 next week. So I have, my 20-year-old son, and then my 13-year-old daughter. And, once this started happening, well, the Paranormal Caught on Camera interview, they did ask me about my children and how my family feels about this. And they kind of think it's funny, kind of like you kind of grew up with it was just common knowledge. They're starting to feel that too. And so what they'll do is they'll move like a juice carton or a cup or something and go, "Oh mom, did your ghost move that?" And they'll laugh and walk away. Or they'll leave cabinets open at night, and then when I get up, the cabinets will be open. They're like, "I guess your ghost just left those cabinets open." So it doesn't scare them. They think it's cool. When I first started the YouTube, my son thought it was kind of silly. He was like, "Oh my gosh, my friends are going to make fun of me. My mom's on YouTube." But every day now he's like, "How many followers you have? How many subscribers you have? You're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty
Yeah.
good. I like watching your stuff." So he's a big supporter now.
And that's good that all kids are like that. And I kind of keep this, I shouldn't say I keep this away from my family, but they know what I do. They know where I'm at now. But I kind of I try to keep, because I have two girls of my own, then basically five stepkids. And, I kind of tried to keep them away from it, but it got to the point, video and a podcast episode, we all just sat in a dark bedroom and kind of just did an investigation. So it's weird how kids react to this kind of stuff. Most of them don't take it too seriously, but they're open to it. Well, since you brought it up, we talked earlier about this. You got interviewed by the Travel Channel, which goes Central,
Mhm.
essentially. Uh, Paranormal Caught on Camera. Can you tell us anything about that? I know it hasn't aired yet, so tell us what that was like.
Well, talk about opening things up. Well, I'd been catching orbs on my camera at my home for probably 2 to 3 weeks, and because I was a big fan of that show, at the end they say, "Oh, if you've caught anything, send us your links or your videos, and we may feature you." So I was sending them all these orbs, thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I'm getting orbs." I was like a kid in a candy store. It was so new and fresh and amazing to me. Well, I think I sent probably 10 videos to them.
Hmm.
No reply. You could tell that they had opened it. It was over Facebook Messenger. So you could tell that they had opened it and looked at it, but like they literally did not reply. And I thought, okay, am I going crazy? Do they not, back to the orb thing, do they not believe my orbs, or are these not important enough? Well, it was during July, and so they were on a hiatus. They were in between season 2 and 3. And then I caught something at night away from my house on my phone. It was in a parking lot. I was on Facebook Messenger, or the marketplace, and that's kind of where you can buy and sell. It's kind of like a garage sale online where
Right.
you can post stuff. Well, I had meant to meet this person. It was a lady, it was a woman, and it was back to school. I'm a school teacher. So the only time that I had was at night because I'd been working all day. And it was a woman, so I felt safe. So we were supposed to meet at this public parking lot at a school that we both knew where it was at in town. And I was sitting there. She was about 5, 10 minutes late. And I see this light at the top of the light pole start to move and act really weird. And because, kind of like what you said, you're more open to it, you start seeing things that you never saw before, like your world has changed. I started hitting record because it was acting super strange. Well, a ghost figure falls from the light and starts walking across the parking lot. And the video on my YouTube is Ghost Walks Across the Parking Lot. And it looked different in person. I mean, it looked strange in person, but on camera, it was so defined. And obvious of what it was. And I sent that to them. And about a week later, they replied and they said, check your email. We just sent you an email. We love your video. And so I opened it up, went through the whole email process of, communicating with them. And, obviously we signed a contract for the use of my video, and it will air pretty soon, like this season, within the next month or two.
That'll be some good exposure for your YouTube channel. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Probably they don't get too excited over orbs. I would imagine they get those a dime a dozen. I mean, they probably get those sent those all day long. And it took something a little bit more creepy or substantial
Yes.
to get their attention, which I have not seen that video. I've missed that one. I've been kind of diving through
Oh,
your backlog, and
that's a
I
good one.
haven't
It
seen
will
that one.
freak you out.
I will definitely, as soon as we're done with this, I will check that one out. Um,
Okay.
Now, I did check, see one of the videos that I did listen to. It was, I believe, a Q&A. Apparently,
Yes.
welcome to the club. You had a Twitter beef already. It only took you what, 2 months?
Oh,
That's
not
it.
even that.
Oh, I
I
would
was
say
on
that's
Twitter
impressive.
for maybe 2 weeks, if
Oh,
that.
that's got to be a record. I mean, it. Oh, what?
Well,
Tell me the story
I'm a
behind that.
woman and I'm a Gemini, so I have a pretty aggressive nature. And do you want me to talk about it?
Oh,
And
absolutely. We can out everybody here. Who cares?
okay, I won't name the person. But if you follow me on Twitter, you can go, it's still there. I haven't deleted anything. Um, but there was a famous person who he's a host on a lot of these ghost shows. Super well known, but apparently not well known enough for me to know him. He had retweeted, apparently he gets he's a medium, a psychic medium, that helps with a lot of investigations on these ghost shows. Well, someone had tweeted to him a picture of an orb, that you're talking about, kind of like what this person did to you on Facebook. And I guess he gets those all the time. And he retweeted it saying, I'm basically sick of these. Quit sending them to me. Your orb is not any special. It's just as special as everyone else's. And the person didn't reply and kind of shut them down, and they got quiet. And I don't know, it really lit a fire in me. And I think about would I have done the same thing if I'd have known he was famous or he was on TV? I probably would have still done the same thing. But to me, because they shut them down and kind of embarrassed them, because he retweeted it out with a comment like, I'm too good for this type thing. Quit sending me this silly orb stuff. I took it personal, just because I had just had these experiences, and this is how I got into this world. And I get excited every time I see it. And this was like my baby steps. It's like a child walking for the first time.
Right.
And you may have been doing this for 30 years, and you may be running, you may be galloping along, but to me, my first steps are important. Like my first steps in the paranormal world are important. And I'm a strong person. I can handle that. And this person didn't look like they could, because they didn't respond. They got quiet. And I felt like I needed to respond and protect the underdog, or protect that person who just got embarrassed, who was really just trying to reach out to someone who has experience and who knew what he was talking about. He wanted advice, and he embarrassed him. And I got pissed off. I really did. And so I called him an asswipe, I think, and said, you have no right to compare your experiences with someone else's. Theirs is just as good as yours. I don't care if you've been doing this 20 years, 30 years. Don't treat people like that. If I get too big in this field, like I said, I've only been doing this a couple of months, but if I feel like I've been doing this 20 years and I start treating people that way, then I need to get out,
Right.
because there's going to be newbies that come along who are going to message me, who want, hey, look at this video. And if I feel like I'm too good for that I can't help them, I can't give them advice, then my reign is over. I need to stop.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the key word there was medium. I don't
Hmm.
trust any of those. I'll be nice. Celebrity mediums.
And
Not,
that's what he was.
you know, and I have a good idea. Yeah, I definitely have a good idea who it was. But after this is over, we stop recording. I'll have you tell me the name, see if it's who I think it is. Because I did, I
Okay.
kind of, I when I saw that video and I kind of watched that video, I said, okay, and that's how we connected. We follow each other on Twitter. I said, okay, let me kind of dive in here and see if I can find it and see who it
Yeah,
is.
this girl is pretty spicy. I mean, man, for her to post a fiery video like this.
And so I kind of started doing it, checking your feed and everything. And I was like, and then something came up. I had to go do something, so I forgot to find out. So I didn't find out who it was. But I'll ask you who it was, and then I'll see it. Give my
Okay.
opinion. I might even do a follow video after this on that guy.
Absolutely.
Oh
Well, they
God.
ended up blocking me, and
Oh,
we exchanged. Oh yeah, I'm so sad. We ended up exchanging for a couple of minutes before he blocked me. But you had some of his followers, some of his cronies, protecting him. But then you also had some of his followers that actually came to my defense and agreed with me and said, "We've been wanting to say this forever. He has this thing about orbs." But we're too scared because he's so big. And it took you to start this conversation with him. And he doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want anyone telling him he may be wrong or questioning his beliefs. And I just, I did. And everyone was said, you don't need to question him because it will ruin your brand. And I said, I don't even have a brand. I'm new. I mean, and it's this isn't about a brand. This is about the paranormal, and this is about people.
right,
And if you treat people bad, then this is what's going to happen. And so I wasn't worried about a brand. I don't even have one yet. So
right. That's why I'm not worried about being canceled. You can't cancel. I'm
yeah,
already canceled, basically. But
yeah.
that is the problem with these big time paranormal celebrities. From what I from what I noticed, they've lost that innocence to the point where they want to say they're so open minded, but that's a two-way street. If you're open minded, you have to be open minded the other way too. If somebody came to me or there was some proof that all this paranormal, there's a rational explanation for it, all these supernatural things, I'd be okay with it. If somebody came with definitive proof that orbs, since we're talking orbs, are not
Hmm.
spirits, they are dust, they are this, and then there is some kind of other photography thing that proves it, I'm okay with it. But if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, there is no afterlife, there is no spirit world. It's been scientifically proven at this point to my justification," and I look at the numbers, I'm okay. I'm good. I can live with that. I'm not that married to any of this, but I do believe that there is something to the afterlife. There is a spirit world, and I believe the spirit world is all around us at all times. It's just a matter of we're not tuned into it. It's almost like, and
100%.
I heard this. I think I interviewed some Karen Woodhouse, I think it was, who gave me this analogy. It's like a radio, and the spirit world is all around us. We're occupying the same space. It's just we're not tuned into it. Our dial isn't tuned into that frequency. Every now and then it does get tuned in, and we catch these things. Because that is why you might have we might be in the same room investigating together. You might have an experience, and I might not. Because you might be tuned into it, and I'm just not tuned into it, fine tuned into it.
And do they call that your third eye? Is that what they
I
call the intune?
that is, I believe that is part of it. Your, what is that? The pineal gland, I believe, is what the third eye refers
Hmm.
to. How as we old,
Hmm.
it kind of it
Gets
harden.
crusty, huh?
Yeah, it hardens. There's some conspiracy theorists that say, they're doing that on purpose, but we won't get into conspiracies on this one. But if you're not open to that, you know, you're not going to see these things. And if, just like if you hadn't had that one moment with your video and said, that's kind of weird, you wouldn't be here today. You wouldn't be, having success on YouTube. So, I mean, it only takes one little thing, and it's sad that people like this fake TV medium, I'll say it, probably because that's what he is. If he's on TV, he's probably got an earpiece. people telling him what's going on. To ruin somebody else's opinion that
Hmm.
this now the
And what I guess what I saw was, you know, he could be in, this person that sent him this picture could be in the same seat that I'm in now. He could be experiencing a lot of things, but because he was shut down and embarrassed, he literally just shriveled him. He's done. He's
right,
closed it. He said, I must be crazy. This guy is famous. He knows what he's talking about. I must be nuts. And he will never open that back up again. And me, I'm not going to sit by and let that happen. If I can help it, and if I see it, obviously, I'm sure it goes on everywhere. But if I have a voice, I'm going to speak up for myself, and I'm going to speak up for the ones that I see. And I'll be damned if you act like you're better than me because you've seen a full apparition and all I've got are orbs. And then here I come with a full apparition and on Paranormal Caught on Camera. So, you can kind of kiss my ass.
right. Yeah, that's and there's a better way. If he doesn't, and I think it's a kind of a microcosm of society today. If people don't agree with us or we don't agree with somebody, we just shut them down in today's society. He
Hmm.
didn't have to shut that person down and be a dick to him or whatever.
No, and he has such a platform. He has so many followers that he could have used that to educate, to inform,
Exactly.
and not to embarrass. And
Right.
that's what happened. And I guess the mom came out in me, the teacher came out in me. You have those kids in class that everyone picks on or they make fun of. And I got really protective and angry for him, but then also because that could have been me. And if I had been weaker or lesser or not a Gemini who's afraid to, uh, argue with you,
Right.
it would have ended my experience as well. I would have shut down. I would have been done, and I would not be here.
Right.
So.
Yeah, he could have handled it much different, and he doesn't even have to agree. He could have got the same point across, just like how we talked about that lady who sent me the picture. I don't necessarily think all of those orbs that she sent in that video she sent me were spirits. One of them, like I said, was kind of interesting the way it did glow and the way it moved. But I'm not going to sit there and say, you're crazy. Those are just bugs, dust.
Well, and you could also look at it and just, absorb it and listen to it and
Right,
watch it and send her feedback personally, you secretly, just
right,
whatever, but it's just between you and her. You didn't have to blast that in front of the
right,
whole public either,
right,
you know.
right. And I've been on investigations where I've looked at DVR, I've been watching DVR footage, and it looked like snow. There was so many orbs,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and now some of those could have been spirits, but if I go into that room, and I said this in my little video that I did on all the social media, but about orbs is like these paranormal investigation hotspots. There's not a maid there. They are dusty. If you have allergies, you don't want to go to these damn places because they are dusty. They don't.
Mhm.
They, and
That's
dust.
why Zach Bagans wears that face
Yes.
mask all the time.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Good old Zach. Don't even get me started with Zach. Sometimes
Uh-oh.
I want to. One of these days, I want to do a podcast on a on a Friday night, a live one, and every time he says demon, I'm going to do a shot and see how by the end of the hour. You know that you know, but that video that I was watching that DVR footage, it looked like snow. There were so many orbs. Now, 99.9% of that was probably just the dust floating around from the
Mhm.
ventilation, but some of it could have been. It was an extremely active place, and I caught amazing activity there. Had some extremely profound personal experiences and caught some stuff on video where a cabinet door opening up on video. And
Mhm.
so odds are there could have been something paranormal in that, but 90% of that was dust. But I'm not going to sit there and say, it's all dust. I leave, I don't want, maybe I'm just weak. I just don't, I want to leave the door open for everything, just in case. And
Yeah,
that's,
and the videos that I post of my orbs are very visible, so that you have no doubt that's what it is. And it's never 5 or 6. It's always one big one that's literally walking across the camera. And you can almost see little legs at the bottom of them. And then they usually absorb into the side of the wall. So it's like walking into the wall. So, those are really hard to debunk. Obviously, I put them up for people to look at and, come to their own conclusion. But obviously, Paranormal Caught on Camera decided that some of my videos were okay. So
So
I
that's
guess
that's all
they're
that's
the
important.
experts, huh?
They are the experts. They are there. Like somebody I was doing an investigation in like a abandoned train tunnel that's known for activity here in Ohio. And I was I was inside the tunnel and there, somebody was filming me and they sent me the video. I might still be on my phone, but something was circling me. Some kind of orb was circling me. Now, first and foremost, if somebody said that's just a bug, okay, it very well could have been a bug. But when I sit back and think, I was like, okay, I remember when this video was taken. I know exactly what, and it was around my head. And everybody's had bugs fly around their head.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear them flapping, your wings flapping, the hum, the hiss. I did not
The
hear anything.
buzzing, yeah.
You did not see me, swat anything away. So, and I don't remember anything being there. So what was it? Now, it still could have been a bug, but what was it is the question. And the way I look at it is that piece of evidence on its own is one thing and is, I won't say weak, but not as strong. But when you have other activity going along with
Yes.
that adds credibility to that orb or that
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is people think it is. When you have multiple things going on, it lends credibility to that. Just like, we talked earlier, you're going to start doing some investigations and you're getting some equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I,
and that's something that was really hard for me because on my YouTube channel, I have been getting so many things. My house cameras I caught things in my living room and my bedroom and the backyard, the front yard, that I posted on my YouTube, that I'm going to post a video every week of my home hauntings or my home videos. Well, I haven't had anything. This is the first week. Last week was the first week I hadn't caught anything. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do on Friday? What video am I going to post? I don't have anything.
we need more
And
content here.
I know. So, one, people could fake it just to have something on Friday. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole and start this chain of events of faking things. So I said, you know what? I'm going to create a true crime, myths, legends, something else that I could talk about or supplement with. That's kind of blowing up as well. I'd rather do that than fake paranormal because that's not fair. And I wouldn't want someone to do that to me, for me to watch a video that was fake, and I'm not going to produce anything like that. So
Right.
instead of going out there with a flashlight or something and trying to create this light orb thing, I created a different playlist because I think that's more valid, and I won't put anything on my site that's fake or
Right.
doctored or altered or created in any way.
Right. The way I take that approach as well. But there's nothing wrong with like on your Friday, you didn't have nothing to do a video and just talk. Hey, I didn't get nothing I didn't get anything this week. This is how the paranormal works, and just do.
Yeah, and I think I did a question and answer that week, and there was a lot of questions on Twitter that people had asked me. So I just did a Q&A, a get ready with me, and kind of get to know me type thing, and that was just as successful.
Right.
And I didn't have to fake anything. Yeah.
Right. I've always, that's one reason when it comes to the paranormal on YouTube, I am very sketchy of most of it, just for the mere fact there's a lot of fakes going on. And there's some people that not even faking stuff. It's outright, they're not even hiding the fact that it's fake stuff. But then there have been some
Well,
big.
for you to put me on your podcast, that tells me that,
Oh,
at least you have some faith in me. I
Right,
must be doing
absolutely.
something right.
Absolutely. I wasn't going to bring you on and then out you real quick. No. But no,
Yeah.
there have been some big YouTubers, the paranormal YouTubers, that have been caught faking stuff. And that's, hey, whatever you got to do to get views, but I don't want views that bad. And I think I even did a episode in this back in the beginning about I'd rather not get views than fake evidence. You
Well,
know,
I don't have time to fake evidence. I'm a single mom with two kids. I have a full-time job. I'm a teacher, so they say 40 hours, but we really work 60, 70 hours a week.
right,
And I literally don't know how to fake anything, nor do I have time. All I do is I wake up and I check my cameras, the little list of videos, and see if there's anything on there. And then I just save them to my phone if I catch anything. That's literally what I do.
right.
And so for me, I don't have the time to research how do you fake a ghost or what apps do you use. I'm just barely surviving with what I've got. So
Right. And honestly, the best from everything I've learned, honesty is always the best policy when it comes to creating content. If somebody doesn't want to listen to you just because, you don't have the orb this week, then piss on them. Who needs
mhm.
them? But I like how you branch it out a little bit. Today you posted the John Bonet with Ramsey video. Was that today or was that yesterday?
Yes.
That and,
It was supposed to be yesterday,
oh, that's right,
but
you
it
did.
was so long.
Yeah.
It took so I'm such a perfectionist. I wanted that video to go out yesterday, and it was long, and YouTube takes forever, and I just kept editing and editing and trying to make it better and better and better. And I'm like I said, I've been doing this for a month, and my videos get better every time.
Mhm.
I'm learning all the new things about them and how to make them visually presentable. And so yeah, I just kept working on it, and I didn't end up posting it till today. But yeah, the John Ramsey case is I did a true crime series to kind of supplement my hauntings until I can get my equipment that I got sponsored for. And that one was really hard, as a mom. One, as a teacher, I'm very protective of kids. So that case was really hard too. I have a blonde daughter, so she kind of reminds me of John Bonet. Um, so yeah, when little kids get hurt, those really are hard for me to talk about and
Yeah.
cover. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a tough one.
Because I was getting things ready before I Skyped you, and I said, well, I started to check it out. I watched like the first 5 minutes of it. I was like, okay, nothing personal. I can't watch it. I can't watch it. Because a lot of
It's
people, especially people who don't have kids, don't understand that when you have kids, your whole mindset flips and changes, and it's hard to
hmm
watch stuff like that. Here in this house,
hmm
we get there's a big joke. You know, the movie Armageddon. If you with Bruce Willis about Ben Affleck, they blow up the asteroid is going to hit Earth. And there is a scene where Bruce Willis is talking. He has to stay behind and blow up the asteroid to save his daughter who is on Earth, and they are talking back and forth. I cry like a little girl. I'll admit it right here
hmm
on the podcast. And my better half, she sits there looking. When Armageddon is on and we see it, she goes, "We're going to watch this. You need to cry." I'm like, "Damn it!" And and
Get
it,
it out, let it out.
it wasn't like that. I wasn't like that until I'm 47 years old. And when I was growing up,
Yeah,
men do not
it'll
cry.
be a minute before I do another one about a child being
Right.
hurt. If
Yeah.
I do it again, that one was hard. So yeah, I would rather do live investigations. I can't wait for this equipment, and than to do true crimes about murder and things like that. So I'd rather keep it on the positive side, but to supplement, there are some cases that still bug me, and that was
Mm,
one of them. So I
yeah.
decided to go ahead and dive into it. And the more I researched it, man, the more I got mad. I mean, I guess once again, just it makes me mad that some of the facts that I found out about it. But yeah, I'd rather do investigations for sure.
Now, when it comes to investigation, have you reached out to a paranormal team, or are you going to fly solo on these investigations, or how are you thinking about going forward with actually
I
going out
have
and investigating?
not reached out to a team. To be honest with you, there is no one in my area that I have found.
Really?
I'm in no, I'm in the middle of the Bible Belt. I'm in Arkansas, Fort Smith. The closest one is like in Oklahoma City that I have connected with. I mean, once this airs, and there may be some that I don't know about, but I don't know of any in this area, so I may have to start one.
That,
I don't know who's with me, but I'm
hey,
all for that.
yeah, I mean, honestly, that is probably the best way to do it. I mean, if and because I come up from it, there's two ways to do it. And I think even if you are a part of a team or you do find a team you could investigate with, you still have to have some alone time in these locations because you have to, when you go on an investigation, you have to be one. I'm getting a little woo woo here, but you have to connect with the energy of the home.
Yes.
Just like how we talked about tuning into the spirit world or whatever it is. And sometimes with groups, it's hard to do that. You got so much outside interference. And so when I'm going on an investigation, I like to do a solo investigation. I say, hey, you guys stay
Hmm.
here, or I'm going to go to this part of the room or this part of the location and just be by myself. Sit in the dark and be by myself and kind of listen, feel, and get what I get. And if I don't get anything, I don't get anything. But so you
And
have to
that's
do
okay.
both. Yeah, oh yeah. We went the last investigation we went to, and I've kind of talked a little bit on the past episodes. But there's a really haunted schoolhouse. We didn't get much activity that we knew of when we were there. It wasn't heavy. We didn't feel like it was. There felt like there might be something there, but it just wasn't interacting with us. But we come back. We were out in Iowa, but we came back and apparently I haven't even reviewed all my recorders and stuff yet, but I got a phone call saying, hey, these recorders are lit up with disembodied voices and weird noises, and you know so you never know
Hmm.
what it's like, and you might, because I was fully prepared to come back the next day, start doing a podcast episode about it and trash the place, and I didn't
Hmm.
because I was just basing that on my personal experiences, what I felt there, but I could have been wrong. And so you have to kind of step back when you investigate and look at the whole picture. You just can't focus in on one thing. So definitely try to find a team, but also try to do some yourself. That way you can be,
Okay.
you know,
The one thing that I'm worried about is having an attachment or bringing something home to my kids. So, that's one of the things that I'm been reaching out. Make sure I cleanse afterwards. Spiritually cleanse
mm,
afterwards to make sure that I get rid of any of that
right,
energy, negative energy. So I've been researching that. Definitely don't want to bring something home to my kids who are not in this world.
right.
Obviously they're not experiencing this stuff, so um yeah, so that's important for me as well.
And that's when I first started. That was kind of I was like, I had the same thoughts. As like, I don't want to get an attachment and do things. But as I've been doing this, and this is how I handle it, and I don't recommend this for everybody. I have a firm belief that it depends on you. Uh,
Hmm.
just like smudging and things such as that, is it really the smudging that's working, driving these bad or evil or darker spirits out, or is it your faith in that act that is causing them to go away or whatever?
Yeah,
I
could be
firmly,
both. It could be
right,
both.
exactly. I firmly believe it's obviously you're a strong person, and you have a strong mental strength. And I hate to use the word weak. Weaker people, from what I've seen mentally, tend to get more attachment. If you are strong and you are, you know, say you will not attach to me. If you go into a place that is, you will not attach to me, you will not come home with me, and you project strength. I look at darker or evil spirits more like bullies, and you being a teacher know all about this. In our day, most times there's only one way to deal with a bully. You have to stick up for yourself in some way, shape, or form. And
Hmm.
I think evil spirits is the same way. Now, this isn't for everybody. And I could be completely and totally wrong, so I wouldn't tell anybody what to do. You have to do whatever you feel is right. If somebody asks me, hey, I have this going on, I say, you got to do what you feel is right. But whatever you do, have conviction in when you do it. Because trust me, I've broken every paranormal rule in the book to see how far I could push it. And I've been all right that I know of. Of course, I guess I could have an attachment, but so I don't know. I try to push the boundaries just a little bit, just to kind of see where, where the line is and what needs to be done. And from what I noticed, it's mental strength. You have to be mentally strong and have whatever you choose to do, whether it be, recite a Bible verse or have a crucifix or do the smudging. You have to have conviction and a faith in that. Your faith is really what gives that thing or that activity the power, you know, from what I've seen. But who knows?
Yeah, what I've researched is they do attach to fear. So it's kind of like riding a horse. A horse can sense your fear and
Mm-hmm.
will completely dominate the rider if they feel like the rider is inexperienced and has a lot of fear. They just can absorb that energy. I've ridden several horses before, so that was something that we were taught is don't let them know you're scared. You take control. You let them know that you're in charge.
Right.
And that's kind of how I feel about this. They can sense your fear. They will attach to it. They will use it to their advantage. And as long as I go in there confident and, without fear, it will be fine.
And that is 100%, I believe. And from my experience, you are 100, you hit the nail right on the head. It's about
Mm-hmm.
fear. They feed on the fear. It's like you use the horse analogy or a dog, or, how many times have somebody,
Mm-hmm.
if you got a barking dog or an aggressive dog, the more scared you are, the more aggressive they're going to be. You have to stay in your ground.
You got to be the alpha. You
Yeah,
got to be the alpha. Now,
but
I do want to interject there too, because I have seen there are some times when Zach upsets me or some of these ghost shows upset me because they're antagonizing the ghosts. They're yelling at them. They're trying to make them mad so they do catch something on camera, and I don't agree with that. I think you should respect the dead as much as you should the living, and just because you're needing something on camera for ratings or you need something to put on a show, you throwing things, yelling at them, antagonizing them so they will respond to you. I don't like that either. So I'm going to be, whenever I do my first investigation, I'm going to make sure that I ask permission. Can I use your energy, or can you use my energy, or can I talk to you or say please and thank you?
right,
I think manners goes a long way, and I want to be one of those that respects that.
right, and that's there's a lot of those paranormal reality shows. They do, you know, it's called, they call it provoking, or the paranormal will
Mm-hmm.
call it provoking. But there's a difference between provoking and defending. I have no issue with getting a little energy, or somebody's been pushed or scratched or slapped. Hey, I'm all for, you have to project that strength. And if you have to get a little bit more aggressive, get a little bit more louder, you have to show that you are the alpha even in the spirit world. This is our realm. You're not going to come to my house or my realm and hurt anybody here. But if you're just trying, like you said, just trying to stir up activity, it's cheap. It's
Like
cheating.
poking the bear with a
Right.
stick.
Right. I mean,
Dance for me, dance.
right. And
I don't want that.
and odds are they're not going to respond, because I
Mm-mm.
I believe, they tune into we have to tune into their energy. They have to tune into our energy too. Because if I've been to places that even that Ghost Adventures has been to, and I wasn't probably in the best frame of mind. I talk a lot about mood. You're not going to do your best work. Just like being a teacher, if you got something on your mind, you're not going to teach the kids the
Mm-hmm.
best of your ability. Same with
Oh, they
paranormal.
read it. They
Yeah,
can tell. They're like, Miss, have you had a bad day?
yeah, and
Yes. How could you
it,
tell?
and if the the spirit world probably can do that too. You don't know, but who knows? So I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, provoking is, but and that's why I always say the paranormal reality shows, you have to take them with a grain of salt. They're in the entertainment business,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to get people to watch to sell advertising. So you can't, who knows? It's gotten to the point where I don't even
Who
watch them.
knows?
I don't even watch them anymore. I take that back. I'll watch, you know, Jack Osborne's got the show just because, matter of fact, I like Jack Osborne. I remember the old Osborne's reality
Oh,
show.
the new one with his
Yeah.
parents now?
Oh, that's hilarious. And I don't even watch it for the
Yeah.
paranormal. I just watch it for Ozzy and Sharon's interactions. I mean, that's hilarious. But but Ghost Adventures and honestly, it all went downhill with Ghost Adventures. I mean, Ghost Hunters, the original Ghost Hunters, kind of had the right model of debunking, trying to prove the paranormal, to where Ghost Adventures kind of sensationalized it a little bit and made it more of an entertainment factor. But it is what it is. Good. God bless Zach. I love him.
Yeah, I think they're making it more mainstream and forefront and kind of putting it out there as kind of cool and
Right.
neat and not so scary
And
is what I
that's
think is happening.
and that's something you can't take away from them. I mean, they have brought it to the forefront and made it much easier to talk about and to start a YouTube channel
Mm-hmm.
and get viewerships or start a podcast and get uh, listeners. So you have to thank them for that. But on the other hand, he's still a douchebag. But that's beside the point. All right. All righty. I think we're going to wrap it up. We've actually went almost an hour, a little over an hour. Do you have any social media that you want to put out there? People can contact you.
Sure. My Twitter is Kelly's Unexplained. I think the handle is at Kelly Nichols 7. So I think the headline is Kelly's Unexplained, but the handle is at Kelly Nichols 7. Um, my Instagram is the same. It's actually no, it's not. I take that back. It's Nikki Nick, NICI_NIKK. But I will send that to you, and you can put that up there.
Yeah, you send that to me. All you can find all this in the description and the show notes of the page, and also there will be a link to her YouTube page. So be sure to go subscribe to that. I have, and
Please.
you if you watch her videos, comment. You will see me in the comment sections. So definitely hit that subscribe button for her. And we've also we're not going out. We're going to go out on a limb here. She talked about maybe she might start a podcast. So we're not going to hold her to it. But
I am. I'm going to start one as soon as I've done the YouTube thing, and I think this podcast is my next step. I'm all about upgrading, so we're going to add that to the list.
So be on the lookout for that. So if you have any questions for her, be sure to reach out to her and check out those social medias, and be sure to subscribe to her YouTube channel. So I thank you so much, Kelly, for coming on the podcast, and I think it was enlightening.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We will definitely have to have you on again once you get some more paranormal activity and the dry spell is over for your house.
Oh, I'm gonna go find them now.
There you go. All right. Thank you for listening to the podcast,
right,
and we'll see you next week. All righty, that was my conversation with Kelly. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed talking to her. Like I said in the beginning, I love her enthusiasm for it, and more activity she experiences, especially when she starts going out and doing her own investigations by herself or with a team, however, whatever path she chooses. Let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe to all her to her channel. Be sure to follow her on the associated social media links that will be in the description, and give her some love, and be sure to be interactive in the comment section. Let her know what you think about what she puts out there. And I think that's going to do it. Don't forget, follow me on Facebook. My Facebook page for the podcast is, you can find it at Ghost of the Night. Twitter, great way to follow me, at night_ghost. Follow me on Instagram. What is that? Ghost Ghost_night_podcast. I'm starting to put a lot more videos and content out on those social media platforms. Just not the podcast episodes like I've been doing in the past. I'm kind of trying to do some new things, even some shorter things, just to kind of interact with you guys a little bit more. And don't forget, Sundays, generally we do a live show that airs on, or gets released on Thursdays of the next week. So I do that on my Facebook page. So be sure to follow me on Facebook, like that, and subscribe to that. Or no, you don't subscribe, just like it and follow me. And join me for those live shows. So if you do that, you'll get a preview of what Thursday's episode, the next Thursday's episode is going to be about. It's a great way to stay informed and interact during the podcast. And if you say something or have a comment or idea and I see it, I can't check them all the comments, but if I see it, maybe we'll talk about it right there on the spot, and you will be a part of the show. So that's going to do it for now. Thank you for checking out this podcast episode. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you, and be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Appreciate that as well. We'll see you next week. Take care, everybody.